You don't cry when you expect to. And then you're in the car, maybe stopped at a traffic light, and a song comes on, and suddenly you're crying because it's one that you both used to love. Or you never cry. You don't cry for years and years and years, and you wonder if something's wrong with you. Grief doesn't behave like we think it's going to be. And our culture does a spectacularly bad job at teaching us what it really is. We talk about grief as though it's about the person we're losing. As though we know we're going to miss them, and then we expect to miss them a little less and a little less as time goes by. But I don't think that's what grief is at all. Grief is about losing the versions of yourself that you were with that person. And every future incarnation that you were anticipating being with them, that lost future that's now gone. So it's a whole architecture of a relationship that's been lost. And all the versions of yourself that were going to be in that. There are cultures where grief is communal and extended, where everyone comes together to hold the person who's lost someone, where nobody's expecting you to return to work for days or weeks, where crying out loud is not embarrassing, it's expected and considered normal. But we don't have that here. Maybe there's a funeral, a few kind meals left on your doorstep afterwards, and then there's a quiet cultural pressure to get back to your life, to get back to work, to get back to normal, as though grief has an expiry date, as if you should be done with it by now. You should be over it. I lost someone close to me recently. I won't go into all of it because some of it's still mine and it's still healing. But the loneliness of it surprised me. Not the grief itself, I expected that. But the particular loneliness of carrying something so intense that nobody else around you is carrying to that degree. Being in a room full of people and feeling incredibly alone. That part of it, feeling unreachable almost. I wasn't prepared for that. Here's what we tend to do. We add things. We add productivity, activity, therapy, socializing, all sorts of things, and we get distracted. So we feel better, we think we're healing. And I've done this myself, being really busy, trying to forget that the loss is still there. I understand it. Who wouldn't want to do that? It's less painful. But I don't think this busyness is grief. And for some, talking therapy can really help. But talking about a feeling and feeling it through are two different things. And at some point, we have to feel it in order to release it through the body as well as the mind. It's a process that can't really be scheduled in. It can't be fitted into a neat container of a few days off work. It's something that needs to be felt and lived through. And when you think about it, and this is something I do think about a lot, most children don't get back pain and other chronic issues. But if you ask someone over 50 about their health, they'll give you a list. This was certainly true for me. It's not just that our bodies deteriorate because, yes, we do age, but it's because of the amount of stored and suppressed emotions that we are carrying over time. Every time an emotion came up in our lives that was too big to feel or too frightening, it got suppressed and it had to be stored somewhere in the body, in a tight jaw, in the hips, in the back, in the gut, and then we go into freeze and we don't even feel it. Grief isn't just an emotional experience, it's a physical one. And if we don't feel it, it doesn't disappear. It goes underground and it stays suppressed in the system accumulating until the body starts to speak louder and louder. I'm not going to tell you there's a clean, quick solution. There isn't one. But I am going to tell you what I have found. I have a playlist of songs for emotional healing here on my YouTube channel. It's for moving sadness and grief through the body. I listen to it. Not every day, but sometimes. I listen and I let myself cry. And it's not like I'm fixed or perfectly healed then, but I feel lighter. It helps me connect to the real feeling. And I think that's what we're actually after. Not a perfect resolution, but enough space to breathe. I will say this. I think grief is lonely in a particular way that we don't really name. It's not only that the person is gone, it's that the version of you that existed with them is gone as well. And nobody is mourning that version of you. Only you. And nobody knew that version of you. Only the person who's gone. That's the part that I think people don't say out loud. And I've been thinking about something else connected to this. Our fear of aging in this culture. Whereas in other cultures, there are traditions where elders are really looked up to and honoured for their learning and for what they've lost. And I'm stepping into that role. The role of elder who shares what they've been learning. I don't think the work we do on ourselves in this lifetime goes nowhere. I don't think it's for nothing. And I think part of that work is learning how to grieve. So if you're in it right now and you're carrying something that feels too heavy and too private and too strange to explain, I want you to know that you're not doing it wrong. The strangeness is part of it. Grief has no correct shape. And the work of feeling it, even a little, even badly, just for a few moments with a song, that's the bravest thing in the world. And I understand this now in a deeper way than I ever did before. About 15 years ago, I lost my father, and then really recently, I lost my mother. And I don't need to share every detail of that story, because some things need to remain private. But I will share with you that losing both parents changes something fundamental. It's not only about missing them. It's about losing the ones who are before you in line. And so when they're gone, you realize that you're standing in a completely different place. There's a strange and difficult feeling that can come with that. Like life has totally shifted. Like there's a new level of exposure. For many people, there's fear there. Even if they don't talk about it, mortality becomes more real. A feeling of being closer to the edge of life than you ever realized. And yet there's something else too. A recognition that you're no longer the child in the story. Now you're the one that carries wisdom forward. The one who understands that loss is not an interruption of life, but part of it. That grief is not weakness, but evidence of love. And that maturity doesn't mean you avoid pain. It means you become able to meet it. I remember years ago, a close friend of mine lost both her parents. She was in her late 50s, and she said in her grief, "Now I'm an orphan." And I remember thinking at the time, what a strange thing to say. You're in your late 50s. But now I completely understand what she meant. Grief can make us feel like our most vulnerable self, no matter what age we are. It can make us feel like a little child again, wishing for the comfort from those people that we've just lost. So it's no longer possible in that same form. And that can be one of the hardest things to admit, because outwardly life continues. You may be still working, traveling, making decisions, showing up, but inwardly something tender has been uncovered. And it asks for honesty. Not endless dwelling, not becoming consumed by it. Honesty. A willingness to acknowledge what has changed. And this is perhaps where grief begins to teach us something deeper. For me, one of the greatest lessons has been to learn that grief doesn't always arrive in the shape we expect it to. Sometimes it's guilt, sometimes it's regret, sometimes it's sorrow for the relationship you wish that could have been different. Sometimes it's the pain of unfinished things, and sometimes, surprisingly, it's love, clearer than before. I've felt that too. A closeness that exists beyond physical presence. A sense of peace where before there was only complexity. And that has changed my understanding of loss completely. Because what ends in one form can continue in another. Not in a sentimental way, but in a deeply felt way. There are bonds that remain. There is truth that outlasts circumstance. And there is a kind of strength that comes when we stop resisting what we feel and allow it to become a part of us. Not all at once, not in a straight line, but gradually and consistently. It happens in layers, like keeping on returning to yourself and each time finding something a little changed. That is how grief has moved through me, and perhaps that is how healing works. And if this touches you in any way, let's just take a moment to pause, place a hand on the heart, and just be with whatever's coming up right now. Just take one breath, see if you're noticing anything at all. If it helps, you might like to say something like, I am here with this. We're not looking for any result. You don't need to cry or feel anything in particular. Just to slow down, notice your breathing. Just the placing of your hand on your chest sends a signal inwards that you are consciously spending a moment with your own heart right now. And we can do this together. It can be very hard to go through whatever you're going through all on your own. So let's spend this moment together. I'm here with this right now. I allow this. Notice anything you can feel, either in the palm of your hand or in the chest, where these two parts of you make contact, the hand and the skin of your chest. Even if it's through a t-shirt and a jumper, it doesn't matter. Can you feel the heat from your hand, or is your hand cool? Send your mind's eye down into your hand or down into your chest to get a sense of what you're feeling there, physical sensations. If anything comes up for you, write something in the comments, let me know. I'm talking to you now from a rooftop in Spain. I've been slow travelling for quite a while now, after many years bedbound with chronic illness and cancer. And now this beautiful emotional healing work has helped me come back to a very full and wonderful life. So I'm sharing what I've learned along the way with you. It's amazing what you can recover from when you discover what was suppressed in your system and learn how to release it. I've created meditations for grief and for fear, designed to help you feel through everything that you've been carrying. They're in the description below. And so if this message has reached you, maybe you can pass it on to someone else. They might be sitting alone with this feeling right now too. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. Take good care of yourself now.